Hey, what's up YouTube? How y'all doing today? I want to welcome y'all to a new video on In the Stars. Today we're going to be talking about elements in Western astrology. In astrology, we recognize four universal elements: air, water, fire, and earth. Out of the 12 zodiac signs, each element has three zodiac signs that are attached to them. For example, the fire signs are Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. Also, each house in the astrological chart is associated with an element, but I'll talk more about houses in a later video. Because each zodiac sign is grouped together in an element with other zodiac signs, that means each zodiac sign that are grouped together will share similar characteristics, such as fire signs will have the same characteristics or some of the same characteristics as each other. As for instance, Leo will have some of the same characteristics as an Aries or Sagittarius. Since I'm on the subject of fire signs, I'll stick to them for right now. Fire signs, as I said, are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Some of the characteristics for a fire sign is energy. As I talked about before with Leos, they have very high energy, but that's not just for them. That's for all fire signs. And that's that flame in them, that burning passion, that burning sensation, that spark, that fire. That fire also leads to them being thrill seekers, spontaneous, like I talked, lively. Like I said, you might know, like I was talking about a Leo, you might know them because they're usually like either the life of the party or you're gonna spot them out in a crowd. And even if for the ones who aren't as far as so far as much extroverted as others, once you get them to start talking, they're going to say a whole lot or have a whole lot to say. Once it's like lighting them up. Once you light that fuse, they're going to keep going. And this is something about fire signs as a whole. They're very independent. They like to do things their way, their own way. They don't like to be told what to do because they have so much passion or so much fire, so much drive in them. They have a lot of drive. They're also very warm-hearted, as I also said with Leos before. They have that warm emotional side to them. That they want to they like to see people doing well. They like to help encourage people to do well because they want to help light you. They want to light you up so you can be, so you can do better or do what they feel like you should be doing. But they also, because as I said with Leos as well, they also tend to be more hot-headed than other signs because that's again that fire that's influencing them. That flame is making, if you say something that they don't like or whatever, they can lash out in a fiery kind of way, whether it's physical or verbal. And so some of the best careers for fire signs would be an entrepreneur because they like independence. They don't like being told what to do. So they like to do things their own way. They want to be the boss of the show. So that will also make them good for a managerial position if they're not going to be, have their own business or so to speak. That also because they like to be out and about and they like sports as well. So that tends to usually make them good athletes because they like to play. They like, they're very active people. They also have very good creative minds. So they like anything in the creative field. Now, when you're talking about air signs, you want to think of the characteristics that different air qualities have, which whether it's wind, steam, so on and so forth. And this is how you want to think of all of the different elemental signs in the chart, fire, earth, etc. You want to think exactly how those elements, the characteristics of those elements. So some of the characteristics of air signs is that one would say that they are full of hot air or full of air in general. And this can mean that, or this does mean that they are very great communicators. They tend to be the communicators at the zodiac. These people usually like to talk, like, and that's what they excel at. They excel at talking. Like they are great, as I said, excellent communicators, whether it's in conversation or doing sales, or you can call these your finessers. Like people with air signs, that's what they excel in. Comedy or anything that has to do with verbalization. They are very great at it. But because this is also their strong suit, this is also their weak suit, which means that they can tend to spill out somebody's secrets. Like, or they might tell you that they promise not to tell anybody something, but accidentally let it out because they enjoy talking, or that they talk so much that they are unaware of what they're saying until it's too late, because these people are also very good analyzers and logical thinkers. They think a lot. But they might talk before they actually speak sometimes. But every now and then they will think before they talk. But these people are your brainiacs as well. So this makes them very great at doing analytical things, or anything on a, as far as in a scientific, or where one will have to communicate. This is the characteristics of your air signs. Water signs are Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. So when you think of water, what do you tend to usually think about? You think about emotions. So these are your most emotional out the zodiacs: Pisces, Cancers, and Scorpios. They tend to be very passionate because of those emotions, but in a different way than the fire. More of a, like I said, on an emotional front, more on a sensitive front, more on a sensual front. That's how they show their passionate side of them. They also are the most intuitive out the different zodiacs, which means that they tend to have the most psychic abilities out of any of the other zodiac signs. As I said, very sentimental, imaginative. These are all things that are linked to that flowing of water, flowing of emotions. These are these are like the characteristics of your water signs or water signs. So they tend to usually will be into occult things such as astrology, tarot, so on and so forth. They also make great managers because they know they can feel people. They can feel people's emotions. They probably, and because mixed with that intuitiveness, they are also empaths, if you will, or most of them probably have empathic abilities. So anything anything that's intuitive, they will do great at. Also, that emotional, intuitive, sensitive passion that they have can also lead them to being very great at in different creative fields, or that great creators or artists. Now, last but not least, you have your earth signs: Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, when you think of earth signs or the earth element, what characteristics come into your mind when you think of earth element? You want to think of grounded, or you want to think of the material the materialism of the earth. So those are the characteristics when you're talking about an earth sign. You're talking about stability, practicality, um, as I said, grounded, stuck in their ways. They don't like to change. They want to do things their own way. They're not as independent as fire signs, but in the same way, they like to stick to the surefire thing as opposed to fire signs. Fire signs are thrill seekers and spontaneous, so they would just jump into something without thinking about it or overthinking about it, because they will think about it, but they might be overly optimistic about it. Whereas a earth sign is going to think more practical. They're going to be practical about it. They're going to analyze it more, and they're not going to just jump into something because they like material gains or anything of the material aspect. They would make great entrepreneurs, but they're not the type to quit their 9 to 5 until they start seeing the money or receiving the fruits of their labor from their business or that they start, because they have to be sure. They and this also makes them very dependable. They like dependability from others and themselves. They hold themselves high to this standard. But yes, these are the characteristics of earth signs. They would do good in any type of financial type of job, whether it's accounting or I don't know, fix bookkeeping, anything. And they also are very good at analytics, as I said. So they'll do anything when it comes to analytical career fields. These are the characteristics of earth signs. So now when you talk about different compatibilities and incompatibilities with different elements, each element can be more compatible with another or less, just like any sign. So fire and fire would tend to usually go well, except those fires can clash, just like with any other element. The different, the combination of the likeness can make them clash with one another. So when you're talking about opposite elements of one another, so to speak, let's say air and water. The water can influence the air to be more, as what do you want to say, more emotional or more sentimental in the air signs approach on the way they communicate. And air can help water be better at communicating their emotions. So those two signs actually complement each other. The same would go for water and earth. The water nourishes the earth, right? So it can help earth signs grow as far as learning from a more intuitive or even a more emotional aspect. Um, this can help enhance the earth signs' abilities. But on the flip side to that, earth can make the water signs be more grounded in their emotions, making their emotions more stable. So they're not using their emotions on as a, it's not becoming a negative characteristic trait of theirs, but using it more to a positive characteristic trait of theirs. Now, water and fire, what would you say about that? You would say possibly that's probably the least incompatible between a water sign and any other sign. So with the water and fire, what would happen? A water is going to put the flame out. The fire doesn't want to be put out. The fire wants to burn, right? So, and this might happen because uh, a water sign might try to get the fire sign to be more emotional or sensual or whatever. And the fire, they don't want to be tamed. They want that independence. They know what's best for them. So they don't want that. And that can lead to incompatibility or differences amongst the two. The same incompatibility tends to usually go for a fire and earth, because the fire is this flame that wants to keep burning, that's always on the move, that's in the earth sign, what did I say, is grounded, stable, secure. So earth sign might look at a fire sign as being too wild, too impulsive, and not stable enough for them. Whereas a fire might look at as an earth sign that's probably too boring or too stuck in their ways, or not taking certain risks that they will want them to take. As far as fire and air goes, they are probably the most compatible between a fire sign or even an air sign, because what does air do to fire? It feeds it. But don't get me wrong, too much air can blow it out, which means too much of the talkative nature of that air sign can make that fire either blow out where they feel burnt out, or light it to the point where they blow up. So that's the thing when you have to think about the different elements and compatibility. As I said, when you think of elements, you think of their nature, the characteristics of their nature, and that's how you can determine their characteristics in general, and even how they bond with one another, how their compatibility are with one another, if they're compatible or uncompatible with one another. But also with fire and air, that fire can help that air be more fiery in their approach, and not just talking or not just communicating, but be more of doers, so to speak. That can enhance their abilities in a way. So that's why I said they actually are mostly compatible with one another. Now, earth and air signs can be compatible. Reason being is air can move the earth, right? Or move the ground, depending on if that air is strong enough within them. So, with that being said, they can show them new ways, a different approach to life. Just moving how they operate as far as themselves, not being so grounded, not being so stable, but actually letting them be more free in their own approach. This can loosen up that earth sign. But the earth sign has to feel like that this air sign isn't just full of air, that they would actually follow through, and that there would be more dependable, because just as is with the fire sign, the air sign can be kind of undependable based off of, because they are a gust in the wind. They can be at one place 1 second and in another second, because they like to go with the wind. So if the earth sign tend to stay stuck in their ways, even with the influence of the air sign, then the air sign can feel the same way about the earth sign as the fire sign could feel about the earth sign. Feel like they're too boring or too motionless. Don't want to, you know, too grounded. Like, and as I said, the air sign, they want to be a gust in the wind. They want to breeze around. They want to blow past, do things. They want to move. They're motion. They're about motion. So those are the different compatibilities about the different elements. And this video was about elements as a whole. So if you all like this video, don't forget to click like, subscribe if you want to be in tune for future videos that I'm going to make on astrology. Look in the description box for my, what do you call it? Sorry, social media accounts. If you want to follow me there, and write down in the comment box below to let me know how you all feel or felt. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you all next time. Peace and love.